And good evening once again, day 20 of the Biden administration, and we are about 14 hours away from the start of the second impeachment trial for the now former president. Tonight, the Senate chamber has been readied with long tables in place to let the impeachment managers and defense teams do their work at a social distance. Today, Trump's lawyers revealed a much more detailed defense following the attack on the Capitol a month and 2 days ago. In the nearly 80-page brief submitted to the Senate, a document which manages to misspell the name of our country, his lawyers insist the trial is unconstitutional and argue Trump's speech on January 6th was, quote, not an act encouraging an organized movement to overthrow the misspelled United States government. They argue that Trump did not direct anyone to commit lawless actions. They blame a small group of criminals who had come to the Capitol of their own accord, armed and ready for a fight. They call the trial political theater. The 9 House impeachment managers came back today with a 5-page memo of their own, writing that Trump's, quote, incitement of insurrection against the United States government, which disrupted the peaceful transfer of power, is the most grievous constitutional crime ever committed by a president. They further write the House will establish at trial that President Trump merits conviction and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office. Tomorrow, both sides will begin with a debate over the constitutional issues, followed by a Senate vote. Beginning Wednesday, each side will have up to 16 hours per side to present arguments. Congressman Adam Kinzinger, one of the 10 Republican members of Congress who voted to impeach Trump, is now urging that senators in his party convict Trump. In an op-ed published tonight in the Washington Post, the congressman writes, and we quote, this isn't a waste of time. It's a matter of accountability. If the GOP doesn't take a stand, the chaos of the past few months and the past 4 years could quickly return. 17 Republicans, many of them sitting at desks that were ransacked by the rioters, would have to come to grips with what happened in that chamber, enough to join the Senate Democrats in order to convict the former president. Meanwhile, the New York Times reporting, NBC News has confirmed that Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, has opened an investigation into Trump's attempts to overturn that state's election results. The investigation includes, of course, that now infamous phone call where Trump is heard begging officials to find about 11,000 votes, just enough to overturn the choice of the Georgia electorate. This is also a critical week for President Biden as he tries to keep his $1.9 trillion relief bill and the rest of his agenda on track. Today, his press secretary was asked whether he'll be watching the Senate impeachment trial.
He will not spend too much time watching the proceedings of any time over the course of this week. He will remain closely in touch with Speaker Pelosi, Leader Schumer, a range of officials on the Hill. He will leave the pace and the process and the mechanics of the impeachment proceedings up to members of Congress.
There are a few other headlines from Capitol Hill today. Republican Alabama Senator Richard Shelby revealed he won't be running for re-election next year. The race to replace him in a ruby red state will offer yet another test for the direction of his party in the post-Trump era. And the House of Representatives is remembering Texas Republican Congressman Ron Wright. He became the first sitting member of Congress to die of the coronavirus.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.